And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Alexander Jochinger. In addition to being an alum of our Executive MBA program, class of 13, so just celebrated his 10th anniversary, Alexander is the CEO of ENGIE Global Business Support, which is a division of ENGIE, and I'm sure he will outline what the scope of his work is in that context. Many of you will know ENGIE. It is a global leader in low carbon energy and services with tens of thousands of employees and stakeholders worldwide. I would just like to outline, in 1 year ago, Capital magazine here in Germany named Alexander among Germany's top 40 under 40, a very prestigious award, recognizing his leadership of ENGIE GBS and his work to deliver excellence in areas such as procurement, finance, legal, and many more. We are happy to have you with us, Alexander, and let me say the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Harald. Dear esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, family, friends, dear graduates of the Masters in Management 2023. You guys look amazing. It's so nice to stand up here, look at you, see you all dressed up, smiling, happy, proud, maybe a little bit relieved for everything you have achieved in those last 2 years. It's both an honor and pleasure for me to stand in front of you today, returning close to the campus of ESMT, where I graduated 10 years ago, and a place that still holds a significant place in my heart. Just for the completion, when I graduated, this building didn't exist. It was still a hole, and archaeologists were actually looking to find important parts of the wall and other things here. Today I'm honored to share some reflections that I hope will illuminate your way at least a little bit forward. Different to what one may assume when hearing all the nice things that Harald said about me in his introduction, in school for a long time I was actually not the best student. I struggled to learn English in a classroom setting. Also French. Also math. However, when I had the opportunity to actually go to school in the UK and also do my undergraduate studies there, I sensed an opportunity and I thought maybe give it a little bit more effort and see what happens. Well, I realized quickly that indeed I'm not that talented academically. But I also learned that talent is not everything. And if I put in the work, results can and will follow. Life continued as a management consultant, then later as a general manager in the pharmaceutical industry, and now in the energy space. I realized one profound truth. Success is not a spectator sport. It takes effort, discipline, and a commitment to excellence. Of course, the thought of a currently very fashionable 4-hour work week and the allure of just taking shortcuts are enchanting. But there are no express elevators to success. There are only stairs. Each step representing labor, dedication, but also an opportunity for you to grow. In the pursuit of our dreams, we encounter one indispensable trait. And it's one key principle in my life. It's grit. It's a word I learned from psychologist Angela Duckworth, who is a US psychologist who spent a lot of time with the US Navy SEALs trying to understand what differentiates the best from the very best. Because when you apply to become and enter the Navy, you're already on paper physically strong, smart, psychologically balanced. But still not everyone makes it through Hell Week. So she spent some time on understanding what differentiates those that make it through from those that actually fail. And her research underscores that it's actually, not only talent and intellect, but it's that grit that propels us towards greatness. It's that rare blend of passion and the ability to just keep going that enables us to overcome obstacles, overcome failures, but also then just emerge stronger. It's a principle my dad had already taught me when I was younger, who told me, son, it doesn't matter how often you fall down. What matters is how often do you go and get back up. In the pursuit of excellence, I was taught in boarding school to make my bed each morning. Something I hadn't need to do when I lived at home for the large majority of my life. And it's a principle that felt very stupid at that time. However, then I later understood that it's actually this simple act of making my bed each morning that reminds me that success begins with small tasks. And by extension, I can also conquer the larger challenges that follow after that. So if I start my day with intention, I establish a rhythm to establish a second task, and I go establish that rhythm that I can go and establish for the rest of my day. However, as we steer our lives and careers towards self-improvement and potentially becoming the best version of ourselves, we must never forget that life extends beyond the office, in my case. It's easy to become consumed by the professional pursuits. But I recently draw some wisdom from a book I read, and this book was called The Regrets of the Dying by Ronnie Ware. And it's an insightful chronicle that lays bare the reflections of those who are already closer to the end of their life than to its beginning. Their revelations are profound and poignant. And guess what? Nobody says, I wish I had spent more time in the office. And I wish I would have had spent more time on business trips. People talk about they wish they had had more courage to be true to themselves and live the life that they wanted and not maybe the life others wanted them to live. They wish that they had courage to express their true feelings more. They talk about they wish that they had stayed in touch with friends, sometimes family more, and put more effort into developing deeper relationships. It's a concept I didn't understand when I was doing my undergraduate studies and I was at the beginning of my 20s. But now, as a 38-year-old, I'm still not, at least I don't feel that old, but I've got some skin in the game. I'm a father of a 6- and a 9-year-old. And I learned that business sometimes offers second chances, but my kids' childhood, it's a one-shot deal. For their first steps, their first lost tooth, the scrapped knee, all gone if you blink too long. So let's work hard. Let's have grit to overcome obstacles and chase success. But let's also chase sunsets, loves, and those memories that in the end we will truly cherish forever. So now you may say, how do you bridge that contradiction between the pursuit of excellence on the one hand, in our careers, and on the other hand, nurturing our private lives? For me, the answer lies in a simple yet profound mantra. Manage energy, not time. For me, it's quality over quantity. Multitasking, from my point of view, it's totally overrated. In a world full of distractions, where we are driven by our devices and the algorithms inside the devices, laser focus has become my personal superpower. To excel, I learned that I needed to channel my energies into projects that align with my own purpose. I understand that saying no is not a rejection, but actually more an affirmation of my own priorities. And this way, saying no to something can actually be the best yes I can give to myself. And of course, this is a hard concept, and it's easy for me to say. But, it's okay to not have it all figured out. We can be humans. We're not Google Maps. Part of it for me is also to cut the toxic stuff. It's those activities and people that drain energy away from us and distract us from the things that really matter. In my case, this is people that are pessimistic, don't have a vision, don't know what to do with themselves, and always see the glass half full. Amongst my generation of young leaders, there is also another concept becoming highly fashionable again. And it's the secret source of energy that in the end of the day is not really a secret. Sleep enough, move daily, drink sufficiently, water, that is. Eat healthy, and find some chill with some mindfulness. These are not hipster trends, but if you use them the right way, they're the fuel that can, help you to rev up your engine. And it's not about being perfect every day. It's about doing something little that will make a difference every day. But as simpler as it sounds, it's once again easier said than done. So guys, to sum it up, my dear class of 2023, you're continuing your journey in a VUCA world. So I encourage you to embrace the hard work, but also chase the sunshine. In other words, I want you to blend your hard work with your heart's desires. Learn to manage energy like a pro and cut out the noise. From my point of view, success isn't a trophy. It's the result of pursuing the right path with grit and with discipline. Congrats, guys. I have read your CV books. You are all rock stars. You've got the world at your feet. So now go out there and show them what you're made of. Thank you.